The Nevis Historical and Conservation Society, widely known as the NHCS, was established in 1980 and has a mission to protect and promote the historical, cultural, and natural resources of Nevis. Primarily through its Biodiversity Committee, the Society initiates a number of important projects to protect and conserve Nevis' natural heritage and to combat the effects of climate change. Today, we warmly welcome the Director of the NHCS, Jahnel Nisbett, to Good Morning SKN. Good morning, Jahnel.
Morning, welcome.
Good morning.
Right, so we want to jump right into our talking about the project that the NHCS is currently spearheading in relation to climate change. It's the Adaptation Project. What can you tell us about what's involved in this project?
Well, currently the NHCS is running a number of projects that would contribute to climate change mitigation. Some of our biggest projects currently would be the reforestation project at New River, as well as a smaller version at Hicks Estate. So the project at New River saw a barren landscape of about 17 acres, and previously it was populated with coconut trees and other forestry. And over the years, climate change became a barren wasteland, basically. So we've been reforesting the area. Currently, we've managed to cover approximately 14 acres of the 17 with different local natural trees, soursop, watermelon, cherries, those that are weather resistant in hopes to be able to reforest the area. Similarly, at Hicks Estate, that was 5 acres. And that became a quarry site. So it was an abandoned quarry site. So that one is taking more efforts because we're facing challenges from donkeys, etc. But we're also reforesting that area. Currently, we've covered 2 acres out of the 5 acres, and it's a work in progress.
It's an important work, and I think you're making really great progress when you're giving us those numbers, what you've covered. That's really remarkable to know.
Yes.
Well, Jahnel, I had the pleasure of hearing you at the NISSC graduation.
Yes.
I heard you have a bachelor's in history. I know you were a teacher. I now know you're part of CIS Inc. So I just want to, how do they say, big you up colloquially and just let you know you are a phenomenal woman on the rise.
Thank you.
You are certainly welcome. And with that said, in the NHCS, there is a Biodiversity Committee. Can you tell us what is it responsible for?
Yes, so the NHCS has a broad mandate. We are responsible for protecting and promoting the history, culture, and environment of Nevis. So we have different committees that take charge of different aspects of the society. Our Biodiversity Committee, currently led by Isabel Byron, would be the committee primarily responsible for aspects that concern the environment. And they would take charge of our annual events such as Arbor Month, which we celebrate in St. Kitts and Nevis in November. And they would spearhead initiatives such as distributing trees, encouraging planting competitions in schools, scavenger hunts so that kids can learn about the different trees and environment, as well as organize our annual cleanup, which takes place in October. And just a host of other activities, to be quite honest.
In terms of public engagement, in terms of the work of the committee itself, how are you, well, the various committees that you just mentioned, how are you able to manage these projects successfully? And is there a certain level of buy-in or participation that you rely on from the general public to meet your goals?
Yes, we are heavily reliant on our volunteers. The Biodiversity Committee is a fully voluntary committee. We have an in-staff liaison for that committee, which would be Arkela Bendito. And so she would work with the committee and make sure that there's a consistent link between the official employees as well as volunteers, that it flows smoothly. But as I said, it's heavily reliant on volunteers. We have a staff of approximately 7, and we simply can't do it unless appreciate them taking time out of their very busy schedules and working towards the greater good of Nevis.
The Nelson Springs Wetlands Rehabilitation Project, can you tell us a bit about that?
So we have a Nelson Spring Wetlands Rehabilitation Project. It's also now expanded to the Fort Ashby area, which is right next door. So there has previously been some work on the Nelson Spring project, and we've recently gotten funding from the U.S. Forestry Service in the area of approximately $60,000 US to be able to further delve in and rehabilitate the area. Currently, it's been invaded by what we call cattails. They're a type of reeds that are not indigenous to Nevis, so it's invasive and it's basically choking the spring. So the aim is to be able to remove those and try to stifle their growth while rehabilitating the area with also an on-site nursery of local trees, as well as just clearing and making it more accessible to the community again, because once upon a time it was a staple in the community and now it's simply covered by a lot of cattails and bush.
So Jahnel, are there any other historical and cultural and natural resources on Nevis that the NHCS is currently working to protect, other than those that you've mentioned so far?
Just everything in general. A lot of areas don't necessarily fall under our direct control, but the NHCS is respected as such a body that has expertise and volunteerism in the area that we are contacted by members of the general public government departments to be able to lend our expertise and assistance. So where you have areas of erosion, problems where you have individuals hunting turtles out of season, we are constantly contacted and we generally promote, just protecting those areas and not exploiting the resources in such a way that it's unsustainable.
That's very important work indeed, and you seem to be managing it very well.
So Jahnel, you mentioned 14 of the 17 acres, I think, of the new river project that was already planted. Do you know what type of trees they're going to put on the next 3 acres to complete it?
It's a whole cross-section of trees. I don't have the complete list, but it includes soursop, sugar apples, Suriname cherries, cactus, watermelon, a cross-section of trees. We're not limiting it to any specific, like coconut tree. We just want it to be reforested with trees that can actually sustain themselves in the environment.
And also provide food for us, so we don't have to depend much on importation.
Yes.
So that's a very good initiative.
Jahnel, as Cortensia mentioned earlier, you seem to be a woman who wears many hats, although you're not wearing one today. That being said, when did you become involved?
Not today. Maybe I'll get a fashion later.
Good stuff.
When did you become involved in the NHCS, and what is, I guess, the most important takeaway for you having been involved in this?
I officially became a member of staff of the NHCS on September 1st of last year. So I'm recently new here in that capacity. But over the years living in Nevis, I've participated with NHCS when they've organized events such as their coastal cleanups. But in my official capacity, just last year, September.
And that's a new hat that you've donned, although we're not seeing it.
No, not hat. A new fascinator.
Oh, forgive me. I'm being corrected by the woman on scene. Awesome.
I've taken off my... I would like to say I've taken off my hat, but I'm still actually dealing with students who contact me for assistance, so that hat can never come off.
Yeah. What effects of climate change have you noticed on Nevis over the past few years, Jahnel?
The effects of climate change are global, as we know, and in the Caribbean, we're particularly vulnerable to those effects. So we'd be seeing things like the rise in sea levels, which affects our beaches and then our tourism products. We can see a shift of the rainy season and the dry season. I know growing up, we were taught, June to November is the wet season, but I think as adults now we look around and realize that that's been shifting So we have more longer periods of droughts as well on the island and in the region as a whole. We're more vulnerable to storms and hurricanes, etc. And we're just, small, but we're having the impacts of a global problem.
So can you tell us how humans, us, how do we influence climate change?
It's sometimes it can seem like pouring water into a bucket with a hole because we are so tiny. But I think it's important for everyone to try and do their small part. Because if you only look at your small part and think this can't make a difference, and everybody did that, then no change would be made. So if all the small nations of the world, as well as the bigger nations, start making a concerted effort to mitigate the effects of climate change and change our behaviors that are impacting climate change, then I think we can start seeing a change over the years. So in Nevis, we're working on doing our part. However small it is, we're going to keep trying and start at home, protect our island, and hope that the trend continues globally.
How can the general public, Jahnel, support the NHCS in protecting our country's natural resources? What are the things that you're looking for in terms of volunteerism, association, even just getting the information out there?
The Nevis has a very finite population, so it's approximately 12,000 individuals. So we tap into these same individuals repeatedly. So generally, you just want to encourage your volunteers to stay interested, stay committed. We're trying not to burn out our volunteers too much, but as I said, it's finite, so we're heavily reliant on the same group of individuals. So we just want everyone to know that we appreciate them and to keep volunteering with us, do work on your own. Let us know what you're doing so that we can partner and not repeat the same efforts, and so that we can work collaboratively.
So if new members wanted to join your society, what would be the criteria?
There is no criteria for joining the society. If you are under 18, it's only 5 EC annually because we want to encourage young people to join. So that's just a nominal fee just to sign up for the whole year, 5 EC. As an adult, it's 65 EC, again, very well within most of our means. We just want to encourage you to sign up. There is no job requirement, any background requirement. You don't even have to be in division or live on the island to become a member. So you can contact us by any different means to become a member, whether through our Facebook page at Nevis Historical and Conservation Society, or you can sign up through our website at nevisheritage.org. Give us a call. Any means of walking to our museums and sign up, any means of signing up, you can just join the society. It's not a complicated process.
Well, that's good to know, because the work that you do seemingly is complicated, but very simple changes lead to very impactful results. So, Jahnel, we want to thank you again for speaking with us today, and congratulations, by the way. There is one thing I do have to congratulate you for. The NIA recently awarded you on International Women's Day, the organization that is the NHCS. Tell us about that experience. What was it like for you? And again, congratulations.
It was wonderful because I was at an event surrounded by women who are making an impact. And that's really always been my goal. I can't take credit for the award for the NHCS, but I was happy to receive it on their behalf. I have to take this occasion again to shout out the members of the NHCS that would have worked so hard on these projects to help us be recognized as an agent of change, from our committee head, Isabel Byron, to our president, Richard Lupinacci, to our staff, Keller Bendito, who works on the committee, to our grant writers, Lorna Abungu. It's a host of other individuals who contributed towards making this possible. But it was a great experience and humbling and motivating, so that I know that I'm in an organization that has already begun making an impact. My contribution can only be to continue that effort and make it even better.